again. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sandra Ray, and I am the host of the Coffee Shop Show. I am solo today. Mr. Peter is traveling, so we wish them traveling. Hopefully everything's going safely. So if you don't know, the Explore Pro Tech Coffee Shop Show is for entrepreneurs, starting, middle, end, and everything in between. We take from our tribe experiences, mine, Peter, and everybody else in the tribe that joins me on Zoom, and we talk about it. And Explore Pro Tech has had classes, a whole program that helps teach about that helps entrepreneurs out to get them started. So that is a whole branch of Explore Pro Tech. So make sure if you're watching me live on YouTube, you say hello and tell me where you're coming from. That's the awesomeness of a live show, is to interact with the audience on YouTube. So let's get into it. So today's topic is one that I think is important. I think this is one that we don't always think about in business, but I think it's important. I think it's important across all types of businesses, all types of industries, at least from my experience and client experience and other people that are entrepreneurs. But the topic is staying updated with industry trends and best practices. So the world is always changing at I think, millisecond or whatever, some craziness. So some industries change drastically daily. Some it takes weeks, sometimes it takes months, some industries take years, but there's always change. Basically, the end result is there's always change. The speed of the change really does depend on the industry, whether you're service, physical, type, and so on and so forth. What the world is doing. I know real estate market has been an up and down. Financials, the financial industry has went through a lot this year. Just with the world and everything that's happened. I am based in the United States, so my experience is from that, and that has been a very interesting, especially the last 6 weeks. So the world's always changing. So I'm not one to have my thumb on the pulse all the time. I'm one of those that when I do my quarterly review, I check in what has happened in the last quarter in whatever industry I'm looking at, whether it's with my financial clients, my coaching clients, my product clients, and everything in between. So what is going on in each individual industries? Doing it quarterly, I think, unless you're in a if you're in a techie type industry, definitely you have to check in way more often. For me, quarterly works, unless there's some huge, big change up, um, like the United States and the government shutdown. That has officially ended for now. Um, so that was a big shakeup. That wouldn't be something I'd want to wait until the end of the quarter to do it. Or, the unfortunate natural disasters in Jamaica and the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and all those different places. So those have been drastic changes for them. And I know from talking to people in those countries that, life is not anything like it was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. So that's going to affect their businesses. And most of my contacts in those countries is for business, and some have had to pause business. Some have had to get very, very inventive on how they do business, um, so on and so forth. So same thing with, you know, um, United States. A lot of small businesses are really struggling with the economy going down because of everything that happened in the political world, so on and so forth. So first off is pick pick when you're going to do research. Pick when you're going to um, learn more about what's going on in your industry. I think we've talked about this, that learning should be always happening. Um, but I also know as a business owner with multiple legs of business, you can't be learning about everything at the same time. So pick something, if you want to focus on how the natural disasters is affecting directly to your business, whether that's your subcontractors, um, products, services, IT, all those things that do have a role in your business. You want to make sure to keep learning about that. So that's kind of best practice for learning. As far as trends, I'm not a trendsetter, so let me put that out there first. Um, Trends change so much. If you think about social media, it's, which platform, I don't even know all the platforms anymore. It was Threads at the beginning of the year, and now I can't think of the name of it. It's a different platform. But also that is and can be an industry specific thing to be looking at. So if your primary audience is on Facebook, how has Facebook improved, or what is going on Facebook? What's working and what's not working? Um, if TikTok is your primary, what's working, what's not working. If Threads or IG or X or some of the newer ones, yeah, figure out what's working and what's not working. YouTube, I know YouTube's done a lot of changes this year. Um, so definitely learning about those platforms, especially if that's your main advertising and that's your main way of getting clients. Definitely looking at the trends. And there's lots and lots of reports out there. You can Google. I always cross-reference reports. I'll look at reports that the platform does. So if it's YouTube reports. But I also look at who else has talked about the different video platforms and stuff like that. Just to have that cross perspective, because YouTube can be like, oh, we are the best. This is the only place you need to be. And there might be a different video platform out there that is just all the rage and all the trend, and that's the place to go. So a lot of times I will just Google top, I don't know, top 5 trends in marriage coaching this year or whatever. Or on YouTube, we've done, what are the top 5 trends on YouTube when it comes to marriages? Because I work with a marriage coach. So there's definitely ways to do that to not overwhelm yourself, but to at least get a good glimpse of what's going on. Virtual coaching and all those things were definitely the thing because of COVID and past. And now a lot of in-person events have opened up. Some have, some haven't. Some do cross virtual and in person. I know with that particular client, we are going to do both in February. So it's going to be a live and a virtual event. We haven't per se done that, but I have seen that done many, many times really, really well. So it's just a way to reach more people. which is extremely important, especially when you're throwing a conference, because conferences are not cheap. So you want to be able to reach the max amount of people to not only help people, but to also make your conference profitable. We're in business. That's just the bottom to that. Um, go to networking groups or go to panel discussions. Panel discussions is a great way to learn about different industries and what's going on because you're going to get people that's what they do, or they're going to talk about their own business, and you can learn personal stories, personal insights, and things like that. Um, also if you're networking, like say, hey, oh, I see you do, I don't know, you're a social media manager. I want to learn more about what you're seeing this year. That's definitely a networking thing, um, and a way to expand learning about what the best practices are. Um, Definitely if you use Google or ChatGPT and stuff, again, verify your sources. And ChatGPT, I do like ChatGPT. They'll put on the bottom, they'll just be like, please verify, so on and so forth. Of course, it's gotten, more robust, especially in the last year and a half. Um, some people do not want to use ChatGPT, which is fine. But it is good to know. So this is a caveat. And I seen a college professor put this the other day that they didn't want anything to do with ChatGPT and that their college really, really, really encouraged them to learn about that so that they can see how their students are using it, whether it's in a good way or a bad way. And what she learned was she could recognize straight up assignments that were written completely by ChatGPT and that the student did not write, by certain factors in their writing. So she could have those conversations with her students. If she chose not to have ChatGPT a resource for her students, she could be like, hey, nope, I see this. You guys need to go do this. It's gonna be your own work. Um, or if you're somebody that embraces ChatGPT, but you want to not sound like AI, you got to look at ChatGPT and go, okay, I'm going to take this and I don't want to sound like AI. So how am I going to put a spin on how we use this so we can use it? Because AI is not going anywhere. That is the truth. So learning about it, learning how it's used, whether you choose to use it or if your clients are choosing to use it, your students or so on and so forth, that's a tech path. That's a tech thing that, you know, a lot of people use. So it's really important for you to understand how it's used. So that is definitely something you can use to do research on, but also just as a platform as a whole to see how it's being used and how can it help you or not help you. We've talked about AI and we talked about automations earlier this year. Please go back and watch them. That is the beauty of the show. We build on subjects. So the other thing is to go to your clients and say, hey, like, I just want to know, like, what have you been looking for? What is working for you? What is not working for you? Be like, here's my quarterly check-in. I want to know, especially if you have multiple businesses or multiple legs of your business, um, use your clients as a resource. Get their stories, get what's working for them. What have they looked at? What haven't they looked at? Why haven't they looked at it? If they're like, nope, not done ChatGPT, and you'll be like, okay, why? Oh, I don't believe it. Okay, cool. Or I stopped using Facebook and now I'm only using IG, if your client is doing that or whatever. Definitely ask around to your clients, past and current, is extremely important and future. If your industry, especially if it's fast-paced and fast-moving, be like, hey, um, IT, AI specialists, like, what is the latest trend? Ask. You can do it in a social media post, you can do it in email, you can do it in a blog post. There's several different ways to ask that, of course. You can literally call people up and have a conversation, um, and so on and so forth. Have a YouTube show. I know somebody that dissects trends. It's one of many things she goes over. Shout out to Nikki. Nikki will take like, hey, this AI platform dropped. Let's talk about it. She's a social media guru, marketing guru. She's amazing. But that's she has a whole channel totally geared towards that of I want to she wants to break it down. So that's her favorite line. Let's break it down. Let's talk about this. Um, and then like there was some hiccups with AI, I think last week or the week before, where some things got revealed that weren't good. They were not a good thing. And she's like, well, let's talk about how's it going to affect you using it or not using it, and so on and so forth. So there are specialists out there that specialize in that, specialize in the trends, specialize in how things are going. So use those as a resource. Find one you like or find one that you believe is on the pulse and doing the hard work and use that as a resource. It's one thing I talk about is using your resources. I've known Nikki, gosh, 7 years, 6 or 7 years. Um, we met at a similar circle or in a circle of people, and I still follow her. Like I don't work for her, she doesn't work for me, so this definitely isn't sponsored. Um, but I see her, I get her newsletters, I watched her videos, I follow her on social media. Like she knows what she's talking about, and I followed her for many, many, many years. Um, Never actually in person met. I just met with her virtually, which is fine. Um, so definitely looking at who who is who out there is doing the research um, is so, so important. And say like you're doing like this where you're doing live shows. Nikki does live shows, so I could look at her show and be like, hey, how's it working? She's getting this views and this comments and this interaction. What can I do to bring that over to here? Which is a really good idea, and I think I'm going to take that. Um, so what else? Tell me in the audience where you're tuning into. How you get your information. How do you learn about what the best practices are? How do you learn about the trends? Um, like I said, you have networking, you have specialists that do that. You can ask current clients and past clients. You can ask future clients. It's research. We talk about that. I've talked about that in the past. We've talked about that in the show. About you should be doing client research, marketing research consistently. And consistently can be, I'm not saying every day or every week or even every month. It could be once a quarter or every other month. But keep asking what's working, what's not working. We're going into a whole sales season. Like we're in a whole sales season, November and December. Huge sales for majority of industries. Uh, and I was doing I do goal setting sessions on Monday in a group. And I asked everybody, like when we were doing goals, I'm like, are you doing a Black Friday deal? And they're like, no, I don't know yet. One's like, nope, that doesn't really fit my industry. One's like, oh, I'm going to do a soft one. Um, because especially service-based people, that's in product-based, but since I'm more familiar with service-based, Black Friday, some people go all in, pay to be in different groups, pay to do ads, pay for a whole bunch of stuff and do a whole bunch of marketing for it. And then some people do it a more soft approach where they put it out there, and if it bites, it bites. It doesn't, it doesn't. Um, and I've done both. I've done both ways. Not a huge fan of Black Friday sales as far as coaching goes. I don't find people are looking for coaching. I find that people are looking for coaching more towards the end of the year or beginning of next year. That's just my opinion and what I've seen in the last 6 years. So I will probably, well, not probably, I will be rolling. I actually have some offers to roll out that are brand new. So I'll either roll them out probably the end of the month or into December so that we can I can people look at that. But yeah, people are looking at their emails. Here's a tip. Best practice. So we're in that sales season and you're getting emails from everybody that you've ever bought from, got a newsletter, been marketed to, so your inbox is very full. So my Friday cleanups, that is a really good time to be like, never haven't bought from this person in 3 years, have no intentions, maybe you're not even in that industry anymore, unsubscribe, unsubscribe, delete, delete, delete. You can get a lot done in a short period. My cleanup Fridays are on Fridays and they're for an hour. And usually we talk for a minute and then do a 30-minute sprint and then check in and then do a 30-minute sprint if people are available or they can drop off. But that is like, you can do a lot of clean out of your mailbox right now in the next 5 to 6 weeks. So you don't miss anything or set up filters or set up folders or all of the above. Um, Also, this is a good time of the year to make sure all your links on everywhere are linking and going to the right spot. So whether it's your calendar, whether it's your social media, whether it's your website, things on your website, um, take a minute, take an hour, and just go through everything that you know is out there and check and make sure everything is correct, especially if you're doing a Black Friday sale or Small Business Saturday sale or anything the next 6 weeks. Go check those. That's the best practice for sure. Um, it's nothing more than frustrating and easy for people to be like, nope, that link didn't work. Who else does this? Let me go check on them and let me buy real quick. So definitely something you want to keep an eye out on. Um, yeah, and this is also a time to look at your own systems. System audits, you know, if you can either pay to have one done or can do one, map out an hour or two to do a system audit and see what your systems are. Because a lot of people buy their systems on Black Friday or small business. Their renewal is up. So make sure you have the right credit card in there. You don't want that stuff to break. Um, Look and see what you have and what you don't have and what is working and what's not working, systems and processes. This is a good time to do that audit too. Um, Hit me up if you want to know more information about that. I do those. I do help people do those. Because again, it's usually the month. Like I know I've bought in platforms this time of year because of sales. So good time to review those. Probably been better if we reviewed them last month, but do those reviews so that you can be like, hey, I have, I don't know, this course platform. I haven't sold a course, don't have the course anymore. It's the only thing that's on it, and I'm paying, I don't know, $600 a year or something. You know, that doesn't sound like a lot when you break it down month by month, but if it's something you don't use, or you can move it into something that you have now. So if you have a platform that includes courses, one of my favorites is Go High Level. So it's a CRM course platform, calendar, like all in one. It's an all in one. If you already have an all in one, make sure you're rolling as much as you can into the all in one so that you're not paying for all these separate platforms. Um, and sometimes you can't. There's just truth to that. I just rolled one of my clients all into an all in one. And I think we have like one, yeah, we have one other thing. So now there's two systems versus 6 systems. So saved him money, had to put some money in the front end for setup and getting it ready. But now, it's all in one. And I have to laugh when he says, well, Google this and Google that. I'm like, no, we use all in one system now, not that. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot. So definitely a lot. And I know a lot of people that um, if they don't do quarterly or 6 months, but they'll set a week or 3 or 4 days at the end of the year to clean up their email, clean up their drives, internal drives, Google Drives, Dropbox, OneDrive, all those. So they'll spend time doing that end of the year. Um, and but I might help some people out and get some people into some co-working and help do that at the end of this year too. So let me know if you want to know information about that. Um, yeah, I'm going to keep this short because I definitely have talked through everything I think pretty well. Let me know, drop in either the YouTube comments or in the YouTube comments, of course, um, about how you find your research. What is your best practice for staying on top of the newest trends and so on and so forth. Always love to learn. My link to LinkedIn will be in the chat, or not in the chat, the show notes. So definitely click on that, schedule a call. I do have openings for next month. I think this month is booked out, but I'm pretty sure December is open. And let's chat. And then also let me know, what do you want to learn about next year? I do produce and host and create the topics with the help of Miss Susan, who is amazing. She does our behind the scenes. She does the show notes. She does the show descriptions. She does the cover, and then she turns the show into Spotify. So we are on Spotify. So definitely look us up over there. But let me know what you want for next year, because I'm definitely looking into that. I mean, of course, we can start at the top again and, you know, start from square one of starting a business, which is kind of what we did this year. But if you'd like that flow or you have some topics we didn't cover, please let me know. I've also brought in specialists on a couple different times. Definitely, if you're a specialist in something that you want to talk about, hit me up. We don't, at this moment, do not charge to be on the show. Of course, I do vet any specialist that comes on and make sure that, it is somebody that is here for the right reasons, which is to help people in their businesses. So definitely hit me up. Thank you to Susan. She's amazing. And as the founder of Explore Protech, Miss Nestine, may all your wild adventures come true. And I will see you guys